Good morning. Happy Monday and welcome to Mindset Monday. My name is Drew Demery. Welcome if you're new and welcome back if you have joined me on this journey for, I think we've been doing Mindset Monday almost 10 years now. So welcome back to Kicking the Butt every Monday, talking about our mindset and how we can reset for the week. So today we're going to talk about an F word, biggest F word in the room. And we all know it. We all have heard it. We've all said it. Yeah, fear, right? And so I want to remind us of this acronym that we've all probably heard and something that I constantly remind myself of when fear shows up in my head is that fear stands for false evidence appearing real. And so many things that we go through in life, it's not going to kill us, not going to hurt us, not really going to even impact us. But we have this thing in our brain that gives us evidence that it is real, right? Roller coasters, for the most part, don't harm people, right? Making a phone call for in sales, not sure anyone died from that, right? Yet there's this fear or this paralyzation. You're paralyzed because this fear overtakes your body, right? And we all know what fear causes. It's the product or byproduct. It's just a really bad thing for our body too, right? So fear makes us hesitate. It makes us hide. It makes us stay in our comfort zone. So we just stay in that safe space. So we're familiar with what we do and what we know. It keeps us ordinary instead of extraordinary, right? And it even allows us to have this internal record play in our head that says maybe we're not good enough, maybe we're not worthy, right? And the number one thing I think fear does is it rules your life, right? You never reach your full potential and you live in fear of almost every dream that you've set out or thought in your head. So today's question and discussion is about how do we short circuit this thing called fear? How do we do it? And so I'm going to share with you something that's simple, something that all of us can do and all of us can intentionally use to short circuit fear. So to me, I think you have to find a win or basically an accomplishment for that day, right? Go back to something that's going to definitely give you that instant win because winning feels good and fear feels bad, right? And so it takes me back to a book I've read, and it's also on YouTube. And it was this amazing admiral, and he did this commencement speech in 2014 at the University of Texas in Austin. And so he gets up on the podium, and you see him in his uniform, and you can just see how confident he is, and you know you're just going to hear this powerful speech. And he starts off with this simple story about making your bed first every morning makes you accomplish more things in your day. You hit your goals more often because you make your bed every day. And those of you that are watching this in the military, you know there's a process to making your bed. We all have our own various process to make our beds, right? And so he goes on, and there's a book about it, and the YouTube's a few minutes long, and he talks about the win of just making your bed. Sometimes when we have fear or we're getting ready to do an activity and we're completely frozen, I would recommend pausing and figuring out a way for you to accomplish something else before you start that fear-based action. Because the more that you can accomplish, the more wins that you can have under your belt for that day, for that moment, you're going to short circuit your brain. And your brain's going to say, hey, you won that. Hey, you accomplished this today. Hey, you did this today. Hey, you're a rock star. Hey, you've been killing it. Right? So why not do one more amazing thing? Right? And so I think the first advice I would say is that if you're paralyzed with fear, is go find a win, make the bed, have that accomplishment, and then it'll set you up for a momentum that will overpower and crush what fear does. The second thing I want to say is that, especially as a business coach, I want you to examine the thing that's causing you fear, right? Is your heart into it, right? And so many times, especially when I coach people in sales, they're like, I got to do the uncomfortable things. Yes, we all have to do uncomfortable things. Yet, are you really passionate about it? Are you really committed to it? Do you really feel that what you're about to do is going to actually help you solve the problem, which most likely in sales is to get more, make more money, help more people, right? So I would just say first with that, when you're examining, is your heart into it? Determine if your goal is a must, right? Ask yourself, is if it's going to cost you or is it going to push you past your fear, right? Is it a must or is it a should goal, right? And then you got to recognize we all have excuses. And I think salespeople, in my opinion, have the best BS barometer. Um, and we have those excuses, right? So it's easy to have the hopes, the dreams, and desires, but we got to realize that we spend a lot of time on excuses, right? And your brain creates these excuses because they don't want to hold you accountable. They the more that you can figure out how to dismiss those excuses, the better you're going to show up and fear is going to quiet down, right? And the last thing I would say is risk, right? Success doesn't come without risks, right? And so any of the best entrepreneurs that we've all heard about, we all know about, they don't let risks scare them, right? They actually take a chance on themselves, right? So they focus on the positive, not the fear. And then the last thing is, so what? What if your worst fear happens? What if you make a phone call and someone yells at you, cusses you out, and hangs up, right? What if you are fearful? Let's just kind of think of it in a romantic situation. What if you go up to someone at a bar, or a restaurant, or church, or the street, right? And you want to have a conversation with them. What if they say, "No, I'm not interested in you. I romantically don't want to have anything to do with you." I know, hurts your heart, but it is what it is. But what if you walk up to that person at that bar, at that restaurant, at that street, and it's your next person. It's your love of your life. It's gonna be the person that you marry or spend or have children with, right? So fear has to be overcome. You have to overcome fear to grab that confidence, right? So I want you to think about, just like the Admiral said, every night you go to sleep, you got to think about all the things that you accomplished for the day. And I want you to think about one thing that you did to, I call it your fear smasher, right? One thing that you did to stamp out the negative thought around fear. Because, like I said at the beginning, false evidence appearing real. That's what it is. It's not that you can't accomplish it. It's not that it's going to hurt you. It's not that even if you fail, you're not going to be able to get up and do something better and more effectively the next time. It's literally that wiring in our head. It's our mindset that's holding us back, right? So I want us to end with a mindset quote, Napoleon Hill, kind of a good classic one, right? Fear is a habit. So is self-pity, defeat, anxiety, despair, hopelessness, and resignation. You can eliminate all of the negative habits with two simple solutions. I can and I will. Here's a habit. All those words that he said, pity, defeat, anxiety, right? You can eliminate all of those negative habits, all those negative thoughts, all those negative words with two simple solutions. I can and I will. So can you overcome fear? Will you overcome fear? And will you start the day with a win, with an accomplishment, so it sets the course of the day, sets the course of the week, that you can crush fear? Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining me. And it is my hope and desire that you don't live in fear, but you live in fierceness, that, you know what, you can accomplish more than you even thought possible if you just go into that mindset and keep working on it. Have a great and amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon at our next Mindset Monday.